Hello, Sarasota and Bradenton and Southwest Florida families. Today, we're going to talk a lot about health. And when most of us think about keeping ourselves and our family healthy, some of the first things that come to mind are eating healthy, having good nutrition, staying active, keeping in shape, getting good sleep, taking vitamins and supplements, and for us adults, managing stress the best way that we can. But now there is a new and emerging an exciting new way to manage our health and even the health of our kids that may seem new and novel to most and maybe even to you, but it is wildly simple and effective when you really break it down. Sometimes it's so simple it seems like, how could this be possible? But let's go ahead and break down what we are talking about here, and it's something called nervous system regulation. So if you have felt like you've thrown the book at your health and have tried every diet change, supplement, and natural health measure out there, but are still feeling constantly stressed, you're feeling overwhelmed and out of balance, stick around because we're going to cover the most effective way to regulate your nervous system. So furthermore, if you or your kiddos are struggling with things like falling asleep, staying asleep, feeling rested, having good energy overall, maybe there's brain fog, focus-related challenges, mood or emotional imbalances, or even gut and health issues that just don't seem to respond with diet changes, detoxes, and supplements, and so forth, then you are in the right spot. And I can tell you that Pinnacle Chiropractic is the right spot for you too. So let's go ahead and start off with one of our success stories of Jake, one of our practice members who went from explosive emotions to a self-regulating champ. So when Jake's mom, she said that when Jake turned about 2 and a half, our sweet smiling boy began to experience tantrums, crying spells, explosive emotions, and angry reactions. When triggered, his anger would escalate quickly. He would yell, stomp, call himself stupid, and even sometimes hit himself. And after several years, it began to have a direct impact on his self-esteem. With every reaction and angry outburst, these tense moments grew more and more desperate. We began to feel a weight and heaviness in our home and family. We had conversations with our pediatricians, weekly sessions with our child therapists, meetings with school teachers, social workers. We even had a 504 meetings. We longed for peace for Jake and in our household. We hoped and wished for his happiness for him and for calmness in our family. Then, after a big explosive outburst at a martial arts competition, Jake's family knew that he needed something completely different, a different approach to help him. And that's when they heard about PX Docs, which here at Pinnacle, that's what we are. We are PX Docs. We are essentially certified on all different levels of helping kiddos. And they heard about PX Docs from a friend, and they decided we might as well give this a chance, and they ended up starting him right away. So with consistency and time, which that's what it takes to help rewire the nervous system to being a more calm state overall, it helped rewire and regulate Jake's nervous system, and they began to see big changes in him. Mom said that after about 3 or 4 months, so it does take time, we began to notice Jake appeared calmer. We noticed him being able to use more words about how he felt. He was less anxious, less combative, and less intense overall. He began to smile more and started playing and joking around more with his family. Now, don't get me wrong, Jake still has his moments of frustration, but he learned to recognize them when he is in a heightened state. How to apply strategies that he learned from therapy to calm down. He's a lot happier. He smiles a lot. He jokes around and is very playful. And the great thing is he articulates his needs and advocates for himself with words and not reactions. And now one of Jake's biggest accomplishments to date has been his comeback with martial arts. Remember that it started with an explosive outburst there. Now he's kicking butt in martial arts. And in July, he competed with the AAU National Karate Tournament, and he took home 2 gold medals and was a national champion in 2 events. So we couldn't be more proud of Jake as PX Doc. So really the next step now is let's break down the science of why you and your family can be the next success story just like Jake. But in order to do that, we first need to understand what is nervous system regulation. Now, the nervous system helps the entire body stay balanced and stable, keeping every single body system communicating and coordinated together in harmony and operating in the right order, which to a lot of people is called homeostasis. Now, when the nervous system is regulated properly and everything works well, so from basic functions like sleeping, eating, and digestion to even more advanced functions like controlling inflammation response, managing immune system function, and mental, emotional, and cognitive health as well. Overall, when your nervous system is well regulated, you as a human being function at a more optimal state as well too. Now on the flip side, what happens if your nervous system becomes dysregulated? Now, when the nervous system becomes overly stressed or imbalanced, it becomes dysregulated. So the nervous system dysregulation can take many different forms, but often it starts with alterations in basic functions that you experience like sleep, digestion, and energy first. So if you or your child are beginning to notice challenges with falling asleep or staying asleep, digestion, mood, energy, and emotional regulations, those are all signs of a nervous system that is no longer regulated, and now is the time to act, because if we can nip it in the bud, it means that there's less need for care on the front end, and it's more about maintaining nervous system regulation versus having to have essentially a little bit of boot camp to get it back online. So now the role that the autonomic nervous system plays, and really the vagus nerve plays in regulation, is the nervous system is really, and nervous system regulation is primarily governed by what is known as the autonomic nervous system, which controls and coordinates all those major systems of the body, including trillions and trillions of cells that are entirely on autopilot at all times. Now, I often I like to call the autonomic nervous system the auto nervous system, because it's doing everything from your heartbeat. You don't tell, hey, heart, go ahead and uptick 2 beats a minute so I can keep up with this function. It automatically does it without you thinking or telling it to do so. Breaking down the autonomic nervous system means taking 2 branches of it, essentially. So the autonomic nervous system is made up of the sympathetic or fight or flight response, a stress response, and the parasympathetic response, which is rest, relax, and restore response. Now, both of those really, and the big thing with the vagus nerve is it's a super important nerve that is primarily responsible for that rest, relax, and repair and regulate. And if you or your child does have any extra tension or has damage or injury near or at the vagus nerve, the nervous system will really struggle to regulate and stay balanced. So some of the symptoms and consequences of nervous system dysfunction, when the nervous system does become dysregulated or dysfunctional, we often see what is called the perfect storm set in. So this is actually the poster for our perfect storm. Many of our patients know about it, but what we'll break down here is in an infant, it looks like difficulty nursing, eating. Oftentimes babies have trouble soothing and sleeping. Maybe they're colicky or fussy. They might have reflux, constipation, or eczema, and that usually all begins with some type of birth trauma, and birth itself is a trauma. So it can even happen with a nice and healthy birth. So now from there, it doesn't change what it is or just go away, which often is what is told to parents. It just continues to get pushed down and then called something different. So from there, we see kids usually, if they struggled with colickiness, constipation, eczema, trouble with all those things, and had nervous system regulation as dysregulation as a baby, we see it grow into chronic ear infections. Usually there's respiratory and immune system health issues, as well as struggles with motor skills and just making their way through proper motor milestones. So eventually, then what happens if it doesn't get controlled or regulated at that point? It usually becomes something bigger and shows up as big emotions, frequent tantrums, meltdowns, sometimes sensory ADHD stuff, or spectrum-like challenges in kids. And usually at that point, that's usually where a lot of our practice comes in at, is there. So we do see babies, which we're able to prevent it from ever happening, which is beautiful. but a lot of the times it's usually during that perfect storm area where it's a lot of ADHD, sensory things. And then from there, if it doesn't get addressed, unfortunately, it grows into things like depression, anxiety disorders, things along those lines, where it really affects an adult's way of being in the world. So the good thing is, of course, that we are here for you, and that we are going to use specific neurologic tests to find the best way to take care of you and your kiddo. And finally, today, for people are really seem to be waking up to the idea and the importance of nervous system regulation and the role that it plays with our overall health. So, I mean, what if you didn't have to jump into an ice bath or purchase a $5,000 infrared sauna or meditate and hum out in the woods in order to properly regulate your nervous system? What if you could get your nervous system regulated and recharged in just a matter of 3 to 5 minutes? What if that same thing could benefit your kids, from a newborn baby to your incredible teenagers who really need this level of emotional regulation? Well, I'm here to tell you that Neurologically-Focused Chiropractic Care focuses on restoring optimal function and balance to the nervous system, and especially the central and the autonomic nervous system. We put particular attention on the vagus nerve, which plays a crucial role in regulating that nervous system. So our distinct approach does not aim to treat or cure any nervous system dysregulation, but instead addresses the underlying causes of subluxation, dysautonomia, and vagus nerve dysfunction head on. Our patients experience remarkable enhancements in their quality of life once the care begins and neurological healing accelerates. So, to learn more about nervous system regulation and how getting this revolutionary type of care from Pinnacle Chiropractic may completely transform your family's health, please visit our link in our bio. You can comment below, you can DM more to learn, but it all starts with you scheduling a consultation today so we can figure out the best way to help you and your kiddo. So please, if you have any questions, any comments, concerns, please put them in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you at Pinnacle and helping you really reach your pinnacle potential. Peace and love. Dr. JJ out.